Hello, everyone. This is Angela, and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and to click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Women and men, ladies and gentlemen, but especially those silly little men out here who like to play silly little games, the ones that spend all day on their microphones screaming about making women into 1950s housewives all over again, or if you happen to be a pygmy that is enabling these silly little men, listen very carefully. Everybody pay attention. There is something that patriarchy has not taught us conveniently about women that the ancients were well aware of, and they knew to take precautions with us women. There is a reason why that despite all of the brutality that women have faced over the thousands of years, some of us have still managed to survive. All of us women have a power within us that the patriarchy attempted to do everything within their power to suppress. However, it is nature that created all of us, including women, and nature also created us with this power. We are often unaware of how truly powerful we are and how truly this ability is until that variability springs up seemingly out of nowhere. This power sprung up in 1789 France during what was known as the Black March, that happened coincidentally to take place in the month of October. Think about it. October is starting to get cold, and back then the harvest wasn't great, so the cost of food was through the roof, the cost of everything was going up. And while this was going on, the leaders of the nation at the time were living lavishly, similar to what we have going on today in the United States as of the time that I'm making this video on October 25th, 2000. I'm sorry, October 25th, 2025. But back to 1789 France. This is when the wives of the fishermen raided the armory, or the place where they keep the weapons. They took those weapons and they marched to the luxurious Versailles. They were demanding food, and they forced the king, and that was King Louis the 16th. They forced him to come back to Paris because, see, Versailles was the place to get away. It had all luxurious everything that you can imagine at the time. Sort of like somebody is trying to do with Argentina, but that's a whole nother topic. So those women, those fishermen's wives, they said, you know what, if you ain't gonna give us bread in Paris, we gonna take the bread from Versailles. So they went and got those weapons. They went to Versailles, they got the bread, and they made the king come back to Paris. And Paris at that point in time in history was a dirty, dysfunctional, and disease-filled city full of people that were struggling with poverty and illness. So this energy within women also recently came out in Iran. We saw that with the Masa Amini protests, where the women cut their hair and they burned their hijabs as a response to Masa Amini's unalivement. This energy is the reason why the English language still exists. For those who do not know that history, real briefly, Rome was attempting to steal what we know to be the British Isles from its people. They invaded the land, and Queen Boudica, who was the queen at the time, they took her. They had her beaten, stripped, and beaten. And while they were beating her, they had essayed her daughters in front of her. That ignited this power within Queen Boudica, and she led her people to take down around 70,000 Roman soldiers. That's why English is not considered a Romance language or a Roman or a Latin influence language, the way that French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and I believe Romanian, maybe Polish are. This energy was depicted, for an example, in the scene at the dinner table of the movie The Color Purple, when Mary Agnes shedded her nickname, Squeak. She made it clear that she will be known by her birth name, Mary Agnes. And what happened before Mary Agnes said, my name's Mary Agnes? Celie had just told off Mr. or Albert, and this only came after Suge let Albert know that Celie was coming to Memphis with her. So Squeak said, I ain't gonna stay here in this one horse town. I'm going with the lionesses. So her lioness came out too. So she said, don't call me Squeak no more. My name is Mary Agnes. Similar to how Araminta Ross no longer wanted to be called Minty, her slave name, as she stepped into freedom, but she wanted to be called by her chosen name of Harriet Tubman. Okay? So Mary Agnes, going back to The Color Purple, upon seeing Suge doing well and Celie rising up against Albert, and she saw Sophia finally come back to herself, okay? That's when Mary Agnes announced that she's going to Memphis with Miss Celie and Suge. Yes, she did. See, this is the reason why the patriarchy is so heavily invested in women being easy, gentle, sweet, and submissive, and overlooking injustice, keeping our voices low and our eyes diverted. It's because they know that there is nothing they can do when that energy ignites within us. They also know that once we awaken that energy, the women that we once were, which was convenient to the patriarchy, ceases to exist. And that roaring lioness is there in the place of the woman that they tried to make us out to be. This energy was depicted in the movie What's Love Got to Do with It, based on Tina Turner's true life story. And there was a scene where she had the last straw with Ike while they were in the back of the limo in Dallas. I will show that scene from the movie What's Love Got to Do with It that was depicted by Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne. They acted out the event. However, right now I'm going to give it a 5-second countdown along with a trigger warning. So if you need to skip over it, go ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey. Come on, Ike.
Oh, man, what you doing? Trying to get some sleep. Yeah, with that chocolate bar, don't get on your suit. Hey, come on, man. I'm trying to get... Where you going? Hey, what's wrong? Hey, Ann, you better come back over here so I can get some sleep now.
Go straight to hell, Ike.
Hey, Ann, where you going?
Taxi?
Come on now, get in the car now. Something about taxi. Look, you ain't going shopping. You want to go shopping? I had a man take you shopping. Woman, I tell you, get your ass in this car. I ain't playing with you, man.
Hey, call me when you're ready to go to sound check.
Yeah, don't worry about it now. Make sure everybody be there when it's supposed to be.
All right.
What's wrong with you? Talking to me like that? Huh? What'd you say?
Don't start with me. I ain't in the mood today, all right?
Oh, you ain't in the mood? Don't you ever talk to me like that again. You hear me? Huh? You hear me? Sure, you don't never talk to me like that no more. Come here.
No,
Come here. What? Huh?
no.
I'll show you something. No. Talk to me like that again, huh? Ah! No! Come here.
That's your best shot. Huh? You can't do no better than that? Come on. Come on. Turner. Thank you.
Can I call you a doctor?
Oh, man, don't nobody need no damn doctor. Where the elevator at?
Tina Turner did not know that she had this power within her. It just came out of her, and she put a whooping on Ike with a force that shocked him and her alike. When she kicked him in his you know what, and he leaned back screaming, "Ow!" Even she was shocked. That energy made her pause for a second, and then within moments, that same energy pulsed through her, and she commenced to whooping Ike on his assets. For those who haven't seen the film, this same energy is the reason why she left him that very day. The reason why is because that energy is designed to neutralize the threat. I'm sure that she was having thoughts of unaliving him and taking him out. But then that would mean that she would end up in prison and she would lose everything. So she left him and moved on with her life. And she leveled up exponentially, remarried. She lived her best life alongside her husband, who even went so far as to donate one of his kidneys to her in order to keep her alive longer. Tina Turner, she passed away a couple of years ago, very peacefully, in Switzerland at the ripe old age of 83. Meanwhile, by contrast, Ike never progressed beyond that stage. And he kicked the bucket back in 2007. So he was done and over with in 2007. But Miss Tina Turner lived up until 2023. By contrast, what's his face? Ike, he lived only to be 76 years old. Tina Turner, by contrast, lived to be 83 and was married to a younger man who turned out to be the love of her life, and he worshipped the ground that she walked on. She finally had a loving marriage. She got the tender love and care that she deserved from the context of a relationship. I'm not saying that you have to be in a relationship to experience that, but she did in her own lifetime. So, in The Color Purple, going back to that energy, it was how Celie was behaving when she was finna go and shave Mister. That energy hit her. She was about to shave Albert, and she about to shave more than his chin hairs. See what happened, for those who are not familiar with that scene in the movie. Albert had slapped Celie in the face, and it made her nose bleed. And he did it because he felt angry that he had been calling her, and she didn't immediately come to his beck and call. Well, the reason why she didn't hear him was because she was reading letters from her long-lost sister Nettie that Albert had kept and hidden from Celie to keep her from hoping of a better life without him around. So Celie was catching up on those letters that were kept from her. And while she was reading it, Albert came in and slapped her in her face, made her nose bleed, and told her that she needed to come and shave him. Well, she sharpened that knife up, or that blade up, real well, and Celie almost slit his throat. But thankfully, Suge understood what was going on, and she stopped Celie from unaliving him at that moment. But Celie got a drop of blood out of him. She almost was about to cut it all off. That's how that energy works. You see, us women on this side of life, we don't put up with that bull crap. This is why we are often shamed by the patriarchy while everything is cool, calm, and collected, because it's an attempt on their part to subdue Sekhmet before she unleashes. That energy cannot be subdued once it's let out. Sekhmet is the one who does the subduing. This is why these ICE agents, for an example, didn't mess with this Jamaican woman, and whoever the agent was who kept escalating her needs to be freaking fired. Let's watch.
You put a jump for that.
For what? What's going on here?
I didn't touch you.
What's going on? What are you guys doing?
Yes, he do. She just told he gotta come back to court.
What's wrong with you guys?
So back up, at least give him space. You could do what you do, but just give him space.
We're trying to talk to him, but you guys don't
I can't.
Yeah, don't work.
What are you guys doing? What's wrong with you guys?
Why? Tell him why. Bitch, you stupid bitch. That's why y'all are a bunch of fucking criminals. I wish you would. I wish the fuck you would. Yes, the fuck we his family. Y'all a bunch of big pussies. Don't tell me to calm down. Who the fuck is you? We don't like none of you.
You okay?
No, how can I be okay? You okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look like I'm okay? Don't come up in my face here because I hit hard. Fuck wrong with y'all.
Try it.
I wish you would.
Try it.
You try me and see what the fuck happened. Nigga, we angry. All of us angry out here. So don't think it's y'all alone. You who you telling get out of here? Why you telling me get out of here? You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Get out of here. Man.
Fuck wrong with you? Oh, stupid ass bitch. That's why you gotta hide your face.
You wanna go to jail?
You told me my mother could tell you anything.
You wanna go to
Fuck
jail?
wrong with you? You wanna hit me? Hit me, bitch. You ain't got me. Nobody's scared of you. You're a pussy ass. Come. I got rings on, bitch. So me and you can fight. You a pussy bitch. You a pussy bitch. That's why your kids them don't like you. And your wife is fucking on you. That's why you gotta hide your face. My face ain't hidden, bitch. I'm American, you stupid bitch. Fuck wrong with y'all? You can take me too high. I'm Charlotte the Zodiac first. You know what to do? Tell them, no. You want me? Fuck wrong with y'all? Fuck all of you. Put that on the news. Let Trump see it.
Okay, I'm back. They knew if they got jumpy with her and she got a hold of them, she was going to make them earn every penny of that $50,000 sign-on bonus per agent. The patriarchy are afraid that other women will become inspired by women like this woman and unleash their individual lionesses. Those lionesses will come roaring out of them too, like it did with Mary Agnes in The Color Purple at the dinner table. Mary Squeak started out as a pygmy, but that lioness appeared after she saw Celie roaring towards Mister, and she almost came close to rampaging on him. Personally, I have my own story. I was there at the end of my own first marriage. I didn't know it at the time, but Sekhmet was about to rampage out of me. Every time I saw my ex, he pissed me off so bad, and I got to thinking about how he did me wrong, and I was nothing but good to him. I even went so far as to raise his own child as my own. I treated him as if he was my own, all of that, trying to get along with him, and every time we turned around, he was messing it up. So I got to a point where I was tired of him, and every time I saw him, I got to having some case-catching thoughts, if you know what I mean. I couldn't sleep well because every time I would see him, and then I would see how I could deal with him instantly. So when I understood that this was it, I left. Not fearing for my own life. I'll tell you that. It's him who's afraid of me to this day. I walked away from what I would justifiably do and the length of the sentence I would get for it. You see, when Sekhmet arises, that's the end of whatever that situation was. And thankfully, in my own case, it ended non-violently because I walked away. But there are plenty of women locked up in prison right now that Sekhmet had unleashed out of them on a dude that was doing them dirty. And then the next thing you know, the dirty bomb, he's in the ground and everybody is thinking that he's the martyr, but she's up in prison. When all the while, when he was walking the planet, he was giving her nothing but chaos. So she put an end to it. She didn't realize she had that power until it was too late. So ladies, this is an energy that we possess, and that's how that energy works. It is what it is. Generally, when we have been treated unjustly over long periods of time, or for an example, when we as mothers or mother figures, as protective figures, are facing a threat to those who are vulnerable within our care, it seems like the strength of many armies come through us at that given time. And whatever that threat is, we neutralize it. We heard of the grandmother who lifted the car off of her grandson. Okay, it's that same energy. This is the story of a mother who tackled a perpetrator while the police were trying to catch him. Why did she tackle him? It's because the dude was caught peeping into her teen daughter's room. Listen, they live in Houston, Texas, a huge anti-abortion state. Okay? So when she called the police and this man was about to outrun the police, that lioness reared up out of her and neutralized him, held him down until the cops can put the cuffs on him.
Only on 2 tonight, a police officer's dash cam rolling when a Houston area mother tackles a suspected peeper who she says was looking into her daughter's bedroom. KPRC 2's Michael Leparty live at Lake Jackson PD tonight and just spoke with the mom. Michael?
Dominique, that mom had just returned home from the store around 7 o'clock in the morning when she saw a man in her yard. She says he was able to get away from 2 officers, but not from her. Even if you think you can run from the cops, good luck getting past this mom.
I figured at least I could do if I got them down, tripped them up, whatever, then they, have a chance to get caught up.
That's Phyllis Pena in the red shirt.
First instinct was just to make sure he didn't go any further.
Captured on police dash cam, taking down a man she says was trying to look into her 15-year-old daughter's bedroom window early on a Sunday morning.
My kids are my life and, just making sure I protect them pretty much.
Lake Jackson Police Sergeant Rory Welch gave her some credit.
It was a pretty good tackle.
He told us the suspect is 19-year-old Zane Hawkins. Police found Hawkins nearby, but he tried to get away. They say he started running back towards mom, who moved in and made the tackle. Her daughter helped hold down the suspect until officers caught up.
Not very often that we have somebody that actually steps in and puts themselves in harm's way to assist in apprehending somebody.
And the cop, fist bumped me and he was like, hey, so I heard Texans are looking for a new linebacker.
And while she can laugh about it now, Phyllis was in mom mode at the time, saying she just wanted to protect her kids. And Phyllis says that her kids knew of the suspect but did not know him personally. Hawkins was booked into jail and is now facing charges of possession of a controlled substance, evading arrest, and resisting arrest, and could face even more charges. The chief has asked to meet with the mom to commend her and said in an email he might even give her a job application. We're live in Lake Jackson tonight. Michael Leparty, KPRC 2 News.
Cal McNair may be calling. All right, thank you, Mike.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to a woman and her child, your arms ain't big enough. Your muscles ain't strong enough. If you come between the right woman and her child, she will climb up you like a tree and cut you down like timber. Do I have any women here to tell? Am I telling the truth? Women, tell. If you hit a woman that's trying to protect her child, she don't feel pain. You punch her, boom, she's still gonna come. Looking like the Undertaker.
And he's lucky that the police were present, because if not, then he would have been spoken about in past tense, if you know what I mean. You see, men who follow and believe in the patriarchy, despite the truth, they're silly, they're weak, and they're immature. Part of their immaturity is expressed in many ways, including not accepting limits or boundaries. So what happens is that they create circumstances where they can constantly trespass onto people's boundaries, especially the boundaries of women. But there comes a point in time where there's nothing left to trespass on. And it is at that point in time when they greet Sekhmet, or they greet the Morrigan, or they greet Kali. Some also point to Lilith. But at any rate, pushing a woman to the brink will always lead to the claws of the lioness and the rampaging against the one who pushed her there. Full disclosure on me, I do practice Kemetic spirituality, or the spiritual practices of ancient Egypt. When I share my perspective, it is not, nor will it ever be, an attempt on my part to proselytize. This channel is about sharing different perspectives and opening up boxes, not trying to herd you into my category, so to speak. So the first thing that I want to talk about is why Sekhmet is featured as a deity with the head of a lioness. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but let's watch and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. In the wild, whenever there is a male lion taking over a pride, one of the first things he does is to unalive the cubs of his rival, which sends the lionesses into estrus or into heat. So once in estrus, the male lion will then mate with the lionesses in an effort to produce his own offspring. Now, just put yourself in the place of the lioness. You got cubs that you just recently gave birth to several weeks ago. This dude comes through, takes them out, mates with you, and gets you pregnant all over again. So naturally, the lioness doesn't want to go through the grief of losing her cubs, followed by the challenges of yet another pregnancy. On top of that, she still has to hunt and go through pregnancy, give birth, and all of that. So you can understand why the lioness is so fierce towards her male counterpart. Well, going back to Sekhmet, another thing that you see is that she's depicted wearing a crown that is represented by a cobra in front of the sun, with the head of the cobra, rather, in front of the sun. Sometimes you see it depicted with the tail of the cobra encircling the sun. The sun represents Ra, a deity who is her father in Kemetic mythology. But in a mundane explanation, it represents the energy of the life force, that spark that keeps us alive, so to speak. It also shows that her energy becomes fiery once it's ignited. And when you look at fire, it moves. And as it moves, of course, it's hot. It has the potential to unalive. But it takes everything down in its path. This is how Sekhmet's energy operates. It just burns that ish down to ashes. Sekhmet is also depicted with a cobra on her head. That cobra is the goddess or the feminine energy of Wadjet. Wadjet is depicted as a cobra because cobras cannot see very well. Human beings, we can see red, green, and blue. Cobras can only see like green and blue, and not very well. They do not have ears. Rather, they detect sound by vibrations in their jaws. So what they're good at picking up on is movement and vibrations. Well, in a similar sense, our nervous system often reacts before the rest of our senses register what is going on. We may not see it or fully understand the situation, but something is triggering us, right? And making us form goosebumps. Something just seems off. We can't exactly put a finger on it. Just something ain't right. Just like the cobra is triggered by movement, the nervous system is triggered by vibrations, right? This is part of the reason why when you see pharaohs, Depicted from ancient Egypt, they are often wearing a crown featuring a cobra and a vulture. The cobra is the goddess Wadjet, as I mentioned earlier, and the vulture is Nekhbet. Now let's think about the vulture for a second in the mundane sense. The vulture is triggered by what? When you see a vulture flying around in a circle, what does that mean? That means that something is rotten, because the vulture, that's what it feeds on. This is why Wadjet and Nekhbet are known as the two ladies of Upper and Lower Kemet or Egypt, because they alert you when something is up. Before you can even see it or even smell it or observe it in its full form, when the nervous system is triggered, as represented by Nekhbet and Wadjet, it's alerting to you that something is up. This is why they were considered the two ladies of Upper and Lower Egypt, and they were seen as protectors. When Wadjet, the cobra, is alerted, that means something is moving that she can detect. Even though she can't see it, she don't have the ears to hear it, but she knows something's going on, right? And likewise with Nekhbet, something rotten is around here because it's causing her to circle around, right? There are many spiritual and scientific layers to what I just explained, but I want to keep it mundane as we focus on the energy within women that the ancients described as Sekhmet in the Kemetic perspective, or Kali in the Hindu perspective, or the Morrigan in ancient European perspectives. So beyond being a formidable force that will back down an army, as we saw with the Jamaican lady backing down the ICE army, Sekhmet is also a healer. Sekhmet has the mouth of a drunken person. In other words, she tells the truth unfiltered, like the comedian Samore pointed out about a flight she took one time. Let's watch.
Listen, I don't give a fuck where you from. If you see a woman in public with those three combinations, pajama pants, hair bonnet, and bedroom slippers, trust me, she about that life. Pajama pants, hair bonnets, and bedroom slippers, that's a whoop a bitch ass uniform right there. Oh, she about that life. I feel safe when I see a bonnet or two on my flight. Here's why. Because when them bonnets see some shit that ain't right, they address that shit immediately. I was on a flight one time, a bonnet was on the flight. The stewardess had just served all the drinks. We hadn't even taken off yet. She stopped the stewardess. She was like, "Excuse me, but why he get the whole can of Sprite and I only get a cup of Sprite? We on the same motherfucking flight going to the same motherfucking city." I was sitting there with my drink like, bitch, you right. She right about that. Listen.
So I'm back. So you see, Samore pointed it out. You know, the ones that have that Sekhmet energy closer to the forefront are the ones that are looking around and they spot the unfairness quickly. Like that cobra senses when something makes it vibrate. Okay, so what made that cobra vibrate within her around the son of her Sekhmet lioness, so to speak, was that, you know, everybody got a cup, but this one got a can. That's unfair, especially when everyone is on the same flight going to the same place. Fair is fair. See, patriarchy doesn't want a society filled of women that think like that. Because with a society filled of women who think like that, the crime rate will go down very quickly and justice would be swift. So they do what they can to keep us from knowing who we are, unless they can make money off of it by locking us up and making us work for dirt cheap under the penal system, or featuring us on an episode of Snap. Yeah. So everybody, especially ladies, I'm just here being the feminine version of a Prometheus. I'm here sparking ish with the flame to let you all know that this is a normal part of being a woman. And especially for you silly men out there and you pick-me's, What you need to know is that no man, or really nothing on this planet, man or animal alike, has the power to contend with Sekhmet. The ancient Kemetu, the ancient Egyptians, who built megalithic structures, who built those huge temples and pyramids, who carved statues out of granite and basalt, some of the hardest stone on the planet. Okay? They had an understanding of the earth and the universe that still baffles scientists to this day. You go over into Egypt, you will find scientists from Oxford University, you will find scientists from Harvard and Yale and Columbia still over there researching what these people knew. But one thing's for certain, the ancients, they respected Sekhmet. They built temples to her. Her name means the powerful one. Now, I'm not saying this to say, oh, you should go and worship. Again, I don't proselytize. But what I'm pointing out is that they respected this energy within the feminine realm. They understood it and they dared not trespass. The society was able to be technologically advanced and last for thousands of years. That's because they respected everything about nature, including Sekhmet, okay? Well, on the flip side, when you have a man, a silly man in particular, who goes around talking about living in archaic ways, we're up here in 2025, and they're on their cell phone using Wi-Fi and using the digital airwaves to talk about how they want traditional women and how they want to go back to the so-called good old days. Meanwhile, they may be driving around in their jacked up truck or a new car. They're not riding around in a horse and buggy. That's why I respect the Amish for a few reasons. When they want to live in their good old days, they live in their good old days fully. They got horses and buggies. But these fools that I'm talking about, not the Amish, but the podcast bros, okay, and the silly people that follow them, they're up here on their modern technology talking about going back to the 1950s. You see, there's something off about them. And as we're finding out that many of them are not even attracted to women to begin with. So what are they doing in this dating pool? Especially when we're living in a time when people can be open and free with who they are. And what I'm saying, I'm not trying to imply there's something wrong about being LGBTQIA+. That's not where I'm coming from. What I am saying is that it is being discovered more and more that these podcast types are on the down low. Again, nothing wrong with them being LGBTQIA+, whatever. That part is fine. But there's everything wrong with them being on the down low. Because, see, down low, people are schemers and scammers who want to rob people of their time and resources. And on another note, some of these people, they can be off in other ways, so to speak. They may need to be diagnosed officially because they can't adult properly. And they rely on women's unpaid labor to mask the fact that they have not been diagnosed because they are afraid of being seen as atypical, when that very diagnosis can get them the real help that they truly need in order to function without trying to connive a woman into being their girlfriend or fiance or wife. That's why the patriarchy doesn't like it when empowered women like myself are near their victims. You notice, for instance, right now, these past few years, they've been having a difficult time trying to scheme the women on the value of our collective unpaid care work. And women, rightfully so, when these guys come up to them talking about, I want a wife that's going to cook, clean, and do all that stuff, to be a Sealy before she left Albert, the women are telling them to go ahead and hire people to do that. Go hire a cook, go hire a maid, go hire somebody that's going to do your laundry, go hire all them people. See, at this rate, more and more societies around the world, and I believe the United States is next, finally, are going to become more like Nordic societies or like the Nordic model, as opposed to the patriarchy doing what they've been doing. They've been abusing women into providing the Nordic model for men only, but they want to collect our taxes and not provide a Nordic model for everybody on an equal playing field, right? Let me tell y'all something. See, I look at the numbers. You don't think these agencies knew that men were staying in the Section 8 housing and eating up the food stamps alongside the women who were on the assistance? This is what I'm saying, is especially for those who are claiming that black women chose Section 8 and food stamps over staying with the black men in particular, right? However, those same black men were getting out of prison, they were in between jobs, or whatever the situation was. They had nowhere else to go. And what did they do? They found them a black woman on the same Section 8 that supposedly kicked them out of the house, didn't they? And guess what? The government was completely aware. Why would they upset the boat? Because by having that man come and live with her, that meant less food stamps to distribute and less housing to build and more money in the budget to put elsewhere. I don't know, towards some private jets at the cost of $200 million, maybe paid for a few trips to Epstein Island. You see, it helped them to save from having to spend money that they can use to plunder in other ways. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to tell you that while that poor man was living in the house, eating up the food stamps and enjoying the Section 8, he was also near the woman so that they can produce a cheap labor force that they can keep uneducated and who will work crappy jobs for the next generation. But when women became educated and more affluent and was saying, we're not doing that anymore. Now, what did? They overturned Roe, and now they're trying to make it difficult to divorce. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, they still see us as equal when it's time for us to pay our taxes or when it's time to lock us up for committing a crime. But they make us unequal based on our genitalia to try to force us into producing a poor labor force for the next generation. And these Manosphere podcast bros are too caught up into their own selfishness to see what's happening, or they're complicit in it and playing along with it. They're fully well aware and they just don't care. I think it's a combination of both, honestly. However, when the tax dollars that we give over are being used appropriately, then they're not looking to women to provide all of these services to our own detriment, along with giving up our kitty cat too. So ladies, you need to know that at the end of your rope is Sekhmet, because I think that's part of the issue too. Most men don't know this. That's why they keep trying it. But most women, like myself at the time, when I found myself looking upside my ex's head and having some case-catching thoughts, I didn't know that I was in Sekhmet mode until it happened. So you need to know that about yourself too. And I'm only telling you this so that you don't end up on an episode of Snapped giving your story while wearing a prison jumpsuit and dude is in the ground rotting away somewhere. I want you instead to be more like a Suge Avery or Celie at the dinner table as she was walking out. No, not the Celie at the dinner table. The Celie as she was waving from the car as it was driving off. I want you to be that version of Celie. And I want you to be Mary Agnes in The Color Purple at the dinner table when she stood up and said, I ain't squeak no more. I'm Mary Agnes and I'm going with Miss Celie and Suge. See, I want you to be like that. I don't want you to end up like Miss Sophia in The Color Purple, where she was justified in how she behaved, but she was imprisoned, and a lot of years of her life were taken away from her. So I'm trying to keep you from being like that. Also, men, you need to know this about your wives, your daughters, your nieces, your aunts, and so forth. Some of you already know that, but especially if you have young women who are coming of age, young girls who are coming of age in your family, let them know, do not tolerate abuse in any form. Stay away from abusive people because you're going to snap. Nothing good comes out of trying to be nice and patient with people who don't care about it. Matter of fact, they think it's cute and they're going to continue to test you. Okay? Leave these people where they stand. And for you silly men out there who want to keep provoking women, all I have to say is save your family and your loved ones a headache. And go ahead and pick out your suit, your burial plot, and the casket that you want to be laid to rest in. Because you are playing with a fire that the ancients were well aware of thousands upon thousands of years ago. And on top of all of that, go ahead and pay for your funeral in advance so that we don't have to go and donate to a GoFundMe in order to bury you. And no, don't mistake me. I'm not saying this as a threat, but more as a caution for those of you who find it entertaining to trespass over people's boundaries. There's no difference between the intent of what I'm saying and the intent that I would have if I were to say, don't allow a 5-year-old to drive a car because the results can be disastrous. I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm just basically saying stop playing with fire, or in this sense, stop playing with the women who you think are afraid of you and will just continue to take it and take it and take it. There comes a point. And don't think, for those of you who think you slick, I'm a can of oil. You can't play slick to a can of oil. Don't think that using a pick-me, the same wash or the feminine wash, the patriarchy, will stop Sekhmet's rampage. Eventually, Sekhmet is going to arise. She's going to spring out of whoever that woman is, the way that she sprung out of Tina Turner when she was using Ike as a punching bag in the back of that limo, the way that it was springing out of me when I was having case-catching thoughts about my ex that was abusive towards me. Okay? The way that it sprung out of Cassie when she went on ahead and told what's-his-face, Diddy, that she was going to tell everything, and he went and paid her all that money to keep her quiet. Yeah. There are plenty of songs out there to describe it. R. Kelly, with his trifling self, had a song called When a Woman's Fed Up. I'm not saying go listen to it or buy his music. Or if you do choose to listen to the song, make sure it's a bootleg version. But the lyrics in the song, when a woman's fed up, it ain't nothing you can do about it. It speaks the truth about women when they get to this point. And what's the next line? It said, it's like running out of luck and it's too late to talk about it. And then there's that other song from the old school. Sometimes I be thinking the song came from the OJs. No, the name of the group was called the Persuaders. And the song is, it's a thin line between love and hate. And there's a line in the song, the part where he says, the sweetest woman in the world can become the meanest woman in the world if you make her that way. What he was describing in the song, in the lyrics of the song, is what happened for the last time he messed up on this woman. coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning. She made him a plate of food, and it turned out to be his last meal. Ladies, I want you to embrace this energy of Sekhmet. The Kemetu, or the ancient Egyptians, called it Sekh, which means powerful, Met, which means one. So Sekhmet, powerful one. In India, they have temples built to her Hindu counterpart known as Kali. Kali is the wild-haired goddess with blue skin who doesn't care about anything, and she destroys the bull crap in an instant, similar to Sekhmet. The destruction of the bull crap, so to speak, clears the path for growth and progress. So let me give you some food for thought, and I'll end. If it were possible to bring an ancient Egyptian back to life, someone like King Tut or King Tutankhamun or Nefertiti, if they came back to life and they woke up in New York City, they may have been shocked about a lot of things, but they would take a look around, and the one thing they would not be surprised about is encountering outspoken people. They would not be surprised also if they went into places like, respectfully, the state of West Virginia. And I'm naming it because West Virginia is one of the places with the highest percentage of people who are welfare recipients. They would not be surprised when they got there to see that the people are not outspoken enough. New York City is the wealthiest city in the United States. Most New Yorkers I personally have either befriended or generally encountered are nice people. However, look at how they typically react to bullcrap. New Yorkers are known for being quick to call out that ish and to tell it like it is. And many of them are willing to become justifiably belligerent if they have to. They will go there. New Yorkers don't play. They are notorious for, or I shouldn't say notorious, they are well known for reading the bullcrappers in their city for filth, and as a result, their surroundings reflected overall and in general. Yes, New York is not perfect. There is crime, there's poverty, there's homelessness. I have seen it firsthand, homeless men lying down directly on the sidewalk, sleeping as if they were in a bed in their home, while people were walking past them as if they did not exist. Yes, New York City has its problems. However, and at the same time, there are many opportunities there as well. Now, contrast New York City and the average New Yorker, who, though they may be outspoken, are usually more educated and earn a higher income. Compare that to people from places where they are known to not be so outspoken. They got to be nice and sweet, and they got to divert their eyes. And this is especially true in southern places, particularly in the rural South. New York still has its New Yorkers. However, entire towns, especially in the rural South, are going extinct, which means that the Southern culture is being extinguished because the people are moving away, or the places are being gentrified and suburbanized. New York City is how it appears when Sekhmet's energy is actively at work in a positive manner. It becomes a world-class location, not too different from the ancient times when the ancient Egyptians had Sekhmet statues erected all throughout the land, and particularly at the Temple of Karnak. By contrast, the brain drain and the gentrification of rural towns, especially near major urban areas, are an example of what happens when Sekhmet's energy is absent. The original population goes extinct, and the new population that comes in to take over the place, they embrace that Sekhmet energy, and they end up replacing the population that was once there. And then what do? They modernize the place, and then they move on with life. So what you see in New York City, in Chicago and Los Angeles, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Minneapolis, and so forth, is the abstract influence of Sekhmet at work. This is proof that when bullcrap is tolerated, it causes problems and it holds up progress. However, if you speak up like Samore said about the bonnet on the airplane, or like the drunk person who is speaking their sober thoughts, then it keeps that bullcrap at bay, which enables prosperity. So, ladies, you have this power within you. You need to know how to hone it so that you don't end up on an episode of Snapped. All right? And gentlemen, not the silly ones, gentlemen, this is a part of who we women are. Now, for you silly ones, I've already told you, you can play that game if you want to. Just go on and make sure your casket is picked out, though. So on that note, that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and to click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time.
In my brain, if I said what's in my head, should I let the record play? Do I play it to the end? Cause I've been here for days, going on repeat. I've been here for days, going on repeat.